Welcome to Obsidian TTRPG Let's learn how to use the tool. Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back today to another Obsidian video. Today we're going to be having a look at Web Clipper, which is a new piece of functionality that's been released for Obsidian by the Obsidian developers. Basically, it's an extension that allows you to go to a website, press a button, and it'll copy that website into your notes as an Obsidian note. Ta-da! Right, it's pretty amazing. Now, as a dungeon master, why would that be useful? Well, I quite commonly use the Forgotten Realms wiki, alright, because we play in the Forgotten Realms and I like these notes, and I like to be able to have a note about places that we're visiting, things that we might find, groups that we encounter, and this website is just a fantastic resource of all of those things. The problem with this website is how many ads there are. No one likes ads. And the fact that it's on a website and not in my Obsidian vault. But the good news is that I've installed Obsidian Web Clipper and I can press this button now and boom, I now have Mirabar in my notes. Just like that. Alright, let's just have a quick look at it. Mirabar was a mining city of great wealth, ends with 1370 DR. Yep, we've got a description. It's matching almost perfectly. Has missed the bolding. Alright. Tiny issue. Defense and justice. It's got all of that there. It's got the trade section. Even got the actual the note underneath, or the text underneath the image in the right spot. We've got all the coinage sections, the holiday sections. Looks like it's getting the level right on the actual headings. Alright, you can see the coinage versus holidays. There's two different style headings. It's replicated that here. Alright, content's all here. Content's all here. It's even got the appendix so you can look up where all this content has been referenced. Okay, now I don't think it can get easier than that. Right, I'm not sure. Maybe it can. Luskin. I want Luskin in my vault. Press a button. Make sure I reuse the right template. And boom. I now have Luskin in my vault. Oh, look, it's even bringing in the images, all right, that are relative to this place. Like, guys, this is game changing, right? This is game changing. This is the ability for us to have our worlds in Obsidian. Like, we could make a Forgotten Realms vault. Right, you imagine the Forgotten Realms with a linked map to all of these places. This is cool. It does kind of suck that it's got external links going on. I get why. I do get why. I wonder, like, if you take one note, right, and that note links to 100 notes, you wouldn't want that note to create links to internal Obsidian links, because you'd have to have all those 100 notes as well. But as we get there, like say we were copying the entire Forgotten Realms into our vault, then eventually I would want these links to all go to the internal names and have copies of all those notes in my vault as well, which is, it's a big process. It'll take a while, but God, it'd be cool. But yeah, for now they're external links, and if you click that link, it will take you to that website. All right, so not terrible. I'm sure some clever people out there are looking at this already and going, oh, we could just use regex to pass that link back and actually get rid of the link and change it. And you're absolutely right, we could. So we'll get there. But anyway, we have a button. You press it, you get the note in Obsidian. Like, boom. I'm just curious now, how well does this work? What's something else that we've been playing with? Is there a Ninja Turtles wiki? There is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wiki. Of course there is. Alright, let's just try it. What happens? Back to the default template. Oof. Alright, we're in reading mode. It's added a table. It's not fantastic. I gotta admit, the colouring is off. But I tell you what, it did it. It absolutely did it. Let's brought the pictures across. The content's all there. I mean, I'm pretty much convinced. The first time I tried this, guys, it wasn't actually that useful, right? Because the wikis are full of ads, and the first time I pressed it, it actually copied all the ads over. So I'd kind of like dismissed the out-of-the-box web clipper, and I'd moved on to the more advanced version of this, which I'll show you in a minute, which is AI-based, because I didn't want the ads, and I couldn't see a way to do it. But anyway, let's just jump in. Let's have a quick look at this clipper in a bit more detail. All right, so obviously you can add it. All right, once it's added, it comes into your extensions, and I've just pinned it so I can see it. And from there, you can press the button, and it brings up the interaction screen, which lets you do the clipping. But there's a bit more going on here. All right, there's a drop down, so you can select a template. All right, and you will out of the box start with this, and you've got some different options in here. As you can see, it's basically figuring out how to pass apparently eggs somehow. But it picks up all the properties. All right, so when your note is created, it's going to create with all these properties here. And some of these, I'll be honest, like aren't super useful in my mind because they're not TTRPG related. I kind of want like properties based on some things that matter, like what's the next town, or what's the type of wares that are sold by this town. Like I think that would be useful. But regardless, it makes headings, and this is obviously the default template, so that's to be expected. Now this ... here, you press that, and it lists basically a bunch of properties that we can find on this page. Okay, and if we come over to Luskin, and we bring up these ... again, and we can see like the author, the description, there's the title, Luskin. All right, so all of these sort of meta properties are available inside of the website. This tool is able to read those. And then in your actual templates, all right, you'll see here that it's kind of like, where is it? I think we have to go into here actually. We'll go down to default. If we come down and read it, title has been populated by curly brackets, title, and curly brackets, and curly brackets. All right, so anything between the curly brackets is basically been referenced. And in this case here, the name of the thing being referenced is available as a property here. So you can go curly brackets, title, curly brackets, and that will bring in Luskin. Okay. If you want to bring the URL, you do the same thing and just do curly brackets, URL, curly brackets, boom, you get that in your tool. So that is super easy. And you can see there's some options here. Not all of these are useful. Most of it I would say is not useful. I didn't find a whole huge amount of stuff here that I would use. All right, but your website you're using might be completely different. You might find some really great stuff. Depends on how you're using your notes. All right, so let's move on. Let's go into the settings option and just have a bit of a look. So we've got general settings, and this is just basic general settings, right? You've got a help file. If you press open on the help file, you've got a whole section here on Web Clipper. Highly recommend you go through and read this, guys. There's an introduction. Highlight web pages. How does this work? Here we go. Allows you to highlight text to web pages and select the elements you want to save to Obsidian. Your highlights are saved so you can revisit them when you return to a page. Highlights can be captured and saved to Obsidian when you open the extension. There's a section here on Interpreter. We'll go through that at the end. I think that's actually got a fair bit of functionality in it. But templates, right, it comes through, so it supports regular expressions, so regex. It's got URL matching. You can automatically trigger templates based on the website names. As we discussed, you've got variables that you can utilize. All right, so there's a whole chunk of stuff here that's obviously very useful. We'll go back into here. We've got properties. This is where the properties are defined, and basically you can come in here and you can change what is populated into the properties. You can change the type of property. All right, and then we've got interpreter. All right, but let's just go through this default template. Let's have a quick look at what this looks like. All right, so this is the default template, the behavior. We can create a new note, add to an existing note at the bottom, add to an existing note at the top, add to daily note at the bottom, add to daily note at the top. I'm just going to go create a new note. All right, that's my most useful use case, I think. The note name, title, remembering that we can bring in the property. All right, we can come into here, we can find out the property. The name title is Luskin. So therefore in here it's going squirrely bracket, title, squirrely bracket. All right, and that works. Note location. So this is the name of the folder where it's going to save everything. If we have a look in Obsidian, we can see that it did create a clippings folder. All right, and it's been saving every time I press that button. It's been saving the notes into that folder. The vault, last used. All right, you can define more vault names and you can send notes specifically to a vault. I'm just using last used. Template triggers. All right, so define rules to automatically select this template. So basically you can go like, if you go to this website, trigger this template. So you could have a template specifically for the Forgotten Realms wiki. And I think that's pretty cool. And here we go, properties. You can actually define more properties. It must have just been the generic ones we had before. So you could actually come in here and say, note type, or here we go, icon type, right? I think some of the people in my vault use this, and we can go building. All right, something like that, right? So then that will automatically go into the note, and then I could use the supercharge links icon plugin to change the icon of my notes automatically, right? That's how I could use that. And then content. And as you can see here, all this is doing is bringing in the content. So whatever magic is happening behind that is damn near amazing. What's the content? Is it that simple? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So the content is defined in that whole section there, and whatever is included in there will come over. All right, so the default out of the box template is literally just bringing in that, and it's a very simple tool to use. I honestly think that based on what I just saw here, right, like this is actually enough for me. At the start of this video, I was like, oh, I probably wouldn't use this because it wasn't a great result. But now that I'm actually seeing what this default is doing, like, boom, that's the note, right? Like, it's a copy of the note. That's what I want. It doesn't have the right-hand wiki-style tables. All right, well, let's jump in. I'm going to show you what we can do. We're going to go a little bit deeper down this rabbit hole. I will put out a warning that the next part is going to include AI. I'm sorry for any AI haters, but you know, the genie's out of that bottle, guys. AI is not going away. And in terms of data passing, I find AI to be a really useful tool for saving me hours and hours of time. So let's jump in and have a look and see what I can do. All right, AI. It's been about a 14-hour pause between the last part of the video on this because I went down a rabbit hole. Learning how to use it, how to manipulate it, how to get it to do the things that we want it to do. And you know what? I'm pretty pleased with the outcomes. So first things first, let's just jump in and we'll sort of get you back to what I was doing. All right, so we had a note. We've got the web clipper. We've been using that to do the standard output of the notes, but really what I wanted was this side info bar here in a way that it would work. And to do that, I've been using AI. Now, let's just quickly run through the setup of that. So we hit the button up the top right here. We come to settings, all right, and come down to interpreter. We need to enable the interpreter. This is AI, all right, so make sure you read everything in this page and understand what it's doing. You can automatically run it. All right, I'm going to turn that on so that basically when I go to a page and I click the web clipper, as soon as I press the web clipper button, it starts actually working through that note. Or you can set it so that you manually click it. And the reason you might want to change that is that this process requires a little bit of money. Okay, so the next part you're going to do is actually go here and set up a provider. All right, by using an external provider, you agree to their terms and privacy policy. Interpreter requests are sent directly to your provider you choose. Obsidian does not gather or store any data about your requests. So when you use this process, it is sending the website that you're passing to the AI model. Okay, so you need to be considerate of that. Probably make sure that the website has some sort of license agreement that allows it to be used, or you know, just be conscious about the content that you're sending up. I've set up two of them here. OpenAI is the one I've had the most success with. I've played with Google Gemini as well, but you can basically go add provider, pick one from the list. It updates the base URL automatically, and it gives you a list to set up an API key. Now, an API key is basically a secret key. Keep your key secret, don't share it, right? So you can see I've got lots of secret keys here that they're masked out, all right? You do not share your secret key. The reason being, when this key is used as a key to allow the AI to be used through the API, any use used via that key is going to cost you. Okay, so any use using that key is going to get charged to your account. Let's just have a look. Usage. Here we go. Okay, so this is my use on the 11th. All right, you can see it cost me 42 cents. This is my use yesterday. It cost me 61 cents. So far I'm at $1.06. All right, so this is not free, but basically you can load money onto your OpenAI account and you have a balance there and you utilize that balance. There might be other options in here that are free. All right. And there's also options for local LLMs as well, so local language models that you could install if you've got a beefy PC and try and run it yourself. I've personally had the best experience with AI using OpenAI. All right, I think they're one of the leaders in that environment, and they're kind of leading the charge with what can be done. So therefore, that's the reason I pick it. But basically, you click here, you go to here, set up your account, put your API key in. Check out how the funding works, make sure that you've got tokens that can be used. And if you have a look here, you can see I've got limits set up. So make sure you explore the functionality of the tool you're using. I set a limit so that I can't go over that limit. All right, so once we've set our limit, we head back over to here, and what we need to do is now set up a model that the provider is using. Okay, so models are basically like versions of the AI that's available. And if we actually do a Google for OpenAI models, that's the ones I've been using, you basically get a summary of the models that are available. They give you a bit of a benefit case on what they can do, a bit of a description. And generally I think what you'll find is that the older ones are cheaper to use versus the newer ones. But the newer ones are a lot more capable. So I've been using GPT-4o. So what I do is I click here. All right, and you can see GPT-4o. Now, this is the name of the model, but I found that didn't work. All right, and what I had to do was actually define the actual name of the model. So this is kind of like a shortcut link, I guess you could say, that there links to this here. All right, because as it says, currently points to this. So I've been copying this bit here. You copy that name, you go back to Obsidian Clipper, you click Add Model, all right, you select the provider, OpenAI, you give it a name, and then you paste the name of the model, and as you can see here, this is what mine looks like. All right, so GPT-4o using this model. You save that, and that's basically it. That's what I've done so far, okay, to set up the AI. And then what we do is we basically, we need to come over and start creating templates. Now, I played around last night with the Forgotten Realms wiki template. So, Forgotten Realms wiki, it's no longer a location template. It's now a Forgotten Realms wiki template, which I think is really cool. It pulls in the note name, that's not using AI. All right, you can tell the difference between the AI because it has brackets in it. All right, like that. So that would be show me the title, but it sends it to AI and asks it to get the title, where this just reads the note and brings the title in from the page. All right, I'm going to put it in my clippings folder. I could change that if I wanted. I'm going to use the last used vault, and then I've got a trigger here. So this one triggers when you go to the Forgotten Realms wiki. All right, and uses that. Properties, I can define the properties. All right, so I can actually have different note types in there. Okay. Note content. Customize the content of your note. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit more complex. All right, this is where we're writing the content of the template. So, title. All right, I'm literally just bringing in the title. Now, that's not using AI. All right, as you can see, there's no quotation marks there. Now, then I'm actually building an info box. All right, this is using the ITS theme, and I've got other videos on this, but the ITS theme has support for those really cool right-hand wiki style templates. And to give you an example, this is a note that's made with this template. So what I'm talking about is over here, It's actually adding that template and that info box on the right hand side there. So that's what this is doing. So it's adding the info box. It's bringing in the title. Again, that's not using AI. It's bringing in the image. Again, not using AI. I'm just bringing it in. And as you can see here, I'm building it in the format of Markdown. Okay, so I've basically said I know the image URL because that's contained in the page, in the image information. And just to show you that, if we come here and we go to here and we go ... and we come down to image, we can see we've now got the image URL available here. All right, so that's what I'm bringing into there. Nice and easy. Then I want to align with the stats heading. That's just me adding it. And then I'm starting to build my table. All right, again, no AI being used here. This is just literally me doing just text that's going to be copied in the template. But here is where we start to get funky. So, interpreter context down here. This is me saying I want you to be aware of this stuff. And thanks to the Discord community over on the OGN server, sorry, the official Obsidian server. They were the guys who helped me figure out this last night, because I was going through this page trying to identify how to actually get the information from this bar, and I could not figure it out. Because when I hit the dots, like, it's not listed here anywhere that I could find. All right, but what I did is I opened the note in source mode. There it is. So view page source. Whoa, that's scary. And then started coming down and looking for what builds this sidebar. All right, now it probably takes a little bit of coding for people to get their head around in here, but I did manage to find it. And the way I found it was actually finding a little bit of text that's in the bar and then searching for that in here. All right, there we go. So we found that exact text and then reading here and having a look at this. So I do a little bit of coding. I couldn't write this for my life, but the aside role equals region class jumped out to me as part of this. And then you come down here and the aside ends at a point as well. And I think I've gone past it already. There it is, the end of the aside. So this whole section here, there we go, is basically the right hand side. It's wiki style template. Okay. And chatting to the guys online, they're like, oh, you can actually get it. So aside.portable-info box. They're like, you can actually use that. So what does that like here? As you can see, it's an aside. And then the class is portable-info box. All right, so that is matching this aside.portable-info box. Now, I'm not going to pretend to say I could figure that out on my own, but it does kind of make sense to me, right? Like it's capable of looking through this code and going, when you find an aside of the class portable info box, that's what we want you to use. And then over here, we can basically add that in here so that the interpreter is aware of that context, all right? So it can bring that data in. And then using that, I was able to put in an AI line here that says, curly bracket, quotation mark, add the aside portable-info box content here. It should be formatted as, and you'll recognize here, I'm building the table. All right, so I'm copying the format that needs to be used for the table up here. I'm saying I need that little arrow, then a pipe, then a name, then a value. And then I'm saying as one line per element. Do not add the table headings as I've already added them manually. Now, because what I found is that it was adding these again because it knows that it needs that for a table. It was skipping these for some reason, which meant it was breaking everything. So I've had to tell it to say, add this, but please don't add the things I've already done. And then all I do is I bring the content of the web page in. That's it. Okay. Now, how does this work? Check this out. I'm going to grab a new note, cancel of the sparkling stones, and I'm going to press my button. All right. I'm going to go to my Forgotten Realms wiki, and you can see it's automatically running. I click Add to Obsidian. If I go into reading mode, we now have a sidebar. Check that against each other. So does it match? Mirabar, Argathan, Dwarves, Humans. Yep, basically that has worked. Not perfect. You see it's changed races to membership. So, I mean, that actually makes sense to me, right? Like that, I think that's actually an improvement because while it is membership races, it's actually gone, well, we're just going to skip the races and go straight to membership because I don't have an area to do these little headings, so I'm just going to do it like this. And it's brought in the image. Well, I mean, the image here didn't even have one, so it's added its own image and it's just defaulted to the Forgotten Realms wiki. So, not terrible, not useful, but not terrible. Alright, let's try a different one. Let's try a person. Elastil Rarium. Rorim? I don't know. Press the button. Forgotten Realms wiki. It's thinking. It's done. It only took 1.28 seconds. Boom. Alright, we've got home, Mirabar, sex, male, race, human, alignment, lawful neutral, class, fighter, level 14, yep. Game edition second, source. Right, so, boom, done. Got it straight in there. How good is that? So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with this, and I'll be releasing this template for everyone so that you can all use it. The only thing that probably jumps out to me is the fact that the links are all external links. I see why it's doing it, because my Vault doesn't have all of these notes yet, and this process over here doesn't know what links I have. So it makes sense that it would do those links on its own. Now, if I was to get to a point where I had the whole Forgotten Realms wiki in my Vault, I might want to change those links over. There'd be scripts you could run that could basically do that, I think. It might not be perfect, be a pretty hefty job, but there would be a way to convert them over. You might also be able to actually say in your template, let's try this. When adding links, please use the following format. Let's see if this works. I need to stop doing tests on live videos because, you know, it delays the video down. Yeah, no, that didn't work. Oh, but that's because that's in here. It definitely, it broke the picture. So it worked. I've put it in the wrong spot. I'm going to see what this does. Content. Alright, so add the context here, but convert links to a markdown format as like this. Alright, I wonder if that will work. Probably going to take a bit longer. Done. Still going? Yes, done. Alright, well there you go. So it's converted those now to a local method. So what that means is technically that would work. As in, you could start replacing those links. Like you tell it that you want it to start using it. And as you can see, I've already got the Mirabar note in my Vault, and so therefore it's already linking. So I'm sure you would have some broken links, but as you would go through, you would have to tell it to use the local link style, and then you would need to create the notes that are linked in order for the links to work. All right, which would be a lot of work, right? There's a lot of links on these pages, but you know, you could probably reduce the amount of links as well. So maybe do not include the appendix section, appendix, references, or sources information. All right, let's try that. It was quicker. All right, appearance, personality, appendix is gone, references is gone. There we go. I quite like that actually, because that's clean. I can always go to the website if I want those sources information. Let's try something. So we got links going on here, so they're adding those in. The hammers. It's actually adding in. Oh no, here it is up here. So the march in. All right, let's do that one. It's thinking. It's done. It's added. We now have the note. And if we click back on this note, that link is now working. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. This is a really good spot, I think, for this to be in. Let's add the hammers so that link works. There we go, hammers. It's bringing in everything. And now we have links that are working. Okay, so that's kind of the process you would need to do as you go through. And I would probably recommend you do this starting with the area you're playing with, right? And you basically would need to go through page by page, converting this over. But as you can see, it's definitely possible. I would be keen to see if there's a way to actually save the image locally, because right now that is actually just linking to an external site. Not the end of the world, but I think it could be better if it was localized. Like, I want that local copy. You might copy it manually. I don't know if the AI can copy it. Like, the AI can definitely it can definitely like write the text and convert the text to the name in the localized format, but you'd still have to get a copy of that actual image in your vault somehow, I think. So I'm not quite sure how to achieve that at this point. But yeah, that is basically, I'm going to delete some of these old templates. That is one way to do it. So as you can see, it's really quite easy to trigger the AI. You're basically saying curly bracket, quotation mark, talking to the AI. All right, think about it like talking, giving instructions, clear, defined instructions that are logical and follow an order is what I find works best with the AI. And then closing it out with your quotation mark, your end curly bracket, your end curly bracket, and that is it. All right, so you can send up, and I think every time you do this, it seems to be sending another command. I would say try to keep your commands smaller, right? So I found with AI, if I like send the whole page to it and it's a big page, then sometimes it can struggle. So sometimes you've got to break things down into little components for it to bite. And to understand that more, if you actually go to the models, you can see that there's max output tokens. The max output tokens actually distinctly relate to how much information can be sent up to the AI and how much information can be received back. So that is certainly an area where you need to be aware. And then obviously just to remind everyone that this is costing money. Okay, so let's just have a look, see if it's refreshed. I think it takes a bit of time to refresh usually. It's probably still the 13th in America. I'm in the future. It's the 14th here today. But my usage has jumped up a bit, so I'm at $1.50 so far. So just keep an eye on it. I imagine if you sat here and just went hell to leather on the Forgotten Realms wiki, converting it over, you would actually spend some money doing that. All right. And then, of course, there's the consideration that every time you do that, that information is going up. And it's basically reading it. Although I'm pretty sure this model was trained on the internet and that data was available at the time anyway. So yeah, that is Interpreter. And I think that right there is... that is a very powerful piece of functionality. All right, as you can see, it takes you from the default out-of-the-box method, which kind of just gives you this is as it is, but it allows you to manipulate it in a way that can allow you to sort of make it and tailor it for your own vault. And I think that is super cool. I really like this is game changing for me. All right, see how it's now automatically going there because I deleted those other templates. But this is game changing. Here's one that actually failed. Interesting. Notice it hasn't actually included the text. It's made the bar. It's got popular pages. Let's try that one again. Taking a bit longer this time. Yeah, okay. So, see the difference there? It's broken the information out differently. This is the problem with AI. Sometimes it likes to do its own thing. I wonder if I could basically come in here. It's starting to change its mind on what this looks like, but I wonder if I could come in here and actually sort of modify this template a bit more to make it a bit more refined. Add the context here exactly, but convert links to markdown format like this. Do not include the appendix, references or source informations. Make sure you include everything else, such as the description. Alright, slight change. Let's see what it does. Alright, it added it back in, but it's changed it. So, yeah, okay. So you'd have to play around with this a bit to see if it's doing what you want. Like, I think I preferred the content here. Add the content here exactly with the one exception. Convert links to a markdown format. Do I need to be like explicit with it and say, hey, I want you to do it in this exact way? Oh, it's thinking. So you don't want to make something overly complex, right? Because then the thinking is going to slow you down. All right. We're certainly going backwards here, as you can see. And this is kind of like, this is not uncommon with AI when you're messing around. Like, you're like, I want you to do this thing. And it's like, okay, but I think I might just go back to this. Add the content here exactly as written, but convert any external web links to a markdown format like this. All right, what about that one? Interestingly, it seems to be bugging out on the easier page, not the complex page. Oh, here we go. Now we've actually got the stuff that wasn't part of the content. It's like missing the page. Oh, this is why AI is not going to take over the world immediately. All right. What happens if we just go back to content? It just does not like this note, does it? Like it's something about this specific note that it just does not enjoy. What if we try a bigger one? Yeah, no. So we've like completely broken it at this point. It's struggling. It is struggling. I'm going to try one more. We've taken the AI for the content out of it completely. What happens now? There we go. So, it's a challenge, right? Like, you definitely, like, for me, not using the AI is getting me a better result than using the AI. Using the AI is enabling this, which I could not achieve by default out of the box. So I think that's super cool. I like the way the AI was changing my links before, but I do worry that the too much reliance on the AI is setting me up for failure, right? And once I start working this process, like once I'm getting a copy of this website into my vault, right, I'm going to be going hard and fast and not necessarily paying super attention to absolutely everything as I do it. All right, which means I won't pick up potentially that it's missed some stuff. So for me, using the content as it is a better outcome. And then probably what I would do is I'd run a regex over this, a find and replace, and I've got other videos on that, that would basically come through and replace all of these articles here as proper links, right? But as I said, you'd have to have a lot of those notes in your vault in order to do that. So food for thought, all right? You can play around with this however you like. Try and make your templates. Now, I need to mention the Discord. So we'll boot up the Discord. I usually don't like showing Discord because of how many chats are happening. You can see people and stuff which don't need to be on the videos. But there's a really cool resource in here that absolutely needs to be discussed. So here on the Obsidian members group, all right, this is the official server and it's linked from my website. Alright, so if you come back here, you can come to Obsidian TTRPGtutorials.com and you just hit the link for the official Obsidian Discord. That will take you to this, and you can see here there's an Obsidian Clipper help channel. Alright, so if you've got questions and you want to try and get some solutions for those questions, this is probably the best place to go. Alright, because this is not just the TTRPG community, but this is the Obsidian community, which is massive. I got an answer to my question last night super quickly when I posted up, like, how do I do this? And someone's come back literally within like minutes and said, hey, you can do this. So jump in there, you can learn a lot. And another really good place is the Clipper Showcase. So in here, people are sharing all of the different Clipper templates that they're making. And you can learn a lot from this, guys, right? Like you can just come in, have a look at their templates. All right, I'll just grab two from the top to show you what they're doing. People obviously document things in different ways. There's conversations going on here. But you can see that people are building their own different templates so that you can see how they're doing it. They're sharing it, and then you can obviously, hack and slash that apart for your own needs. So this is an absolute hell of a resource that you should absolutely take advantage from. But if you do obviously create anything for the TTRPG community, please do come and share it. both in the OGN server, like OMG server. Like, we really want people to share in here so that they add a TTRPG tag up here for us. All right, that way we'll be able to actually just come in here and show them all. But feel free to come in here and show things off as well. If you were to jump into the showcase, all right, you can actually just post and say, hey, look at this cool thing I made. And that way we can all steal from you and see how it's working. So yeah, there we go. That's been Obsidian Clipper. I'm probably just scratching the surface of it, right? This is one of those things that I think you're going to get more out of the more you understand how things work in the back end of a website. All right, like I had no idea, for example, that I could do this and bring in that information from the info box and then use that in the AI. It was very useful to learn that that works, and I'm sure that if you found other websites with similar sort of sections in them, you could do something similar. That was a good learning for me. Do make sure that you go through to the help file. All right, so help, open. This is the official documentation. Read through all of this. All right, don't skip it. Read through it all. Learn how it works. And then I will stress again before the end of this video to say, please be aware of how much it's costing you. All right, set up your limits. Make sure that you don't surprise yourself with your AI usage because, you know, it's the sort of thing that could just keep expanding and you could keep spending. It's very cheap from what I've seen so far, but money means different things to different people, different variations of money. Like my version of a US dollar is expensive, right? Because I'm in Australian dollars. And then there's people in other parts of the world where like one USD is literally like enough money to feed them for a week, right? So just be very careful, understand the currency conversion rates that you're playing with, and set your limits. Also, obviously, it's AI, right? So, like, it's a tool. I like using it as a tool, but we do need to be aware that when you use the AI, you're feeding the AI information. So, it's part and parcel, right? Lots of people feel different ways about this. I personally don't think it's going away. I'm seeing lots of evidence in big industries that AI is here to stay, and it's coming. So, yeah, it's something that I'm going to be aware of. I'm going to play with it because I want to be on the forefront of technology, and not holding back because I don't believe it should take over. I accept that this is going to be a thing the world is going to use. All right, so how do I use that for my benefit? How do I use it in my career, right? Like, how do I be on the forefront of my team when I'm working so that I'm always leading the pack, all right? And I think AI is going to be one of those things that is just here to stay, so I'm going to learn how to use it. That's it. All right, guys, that's it. Hopefully this has been useful. Hopefully Web Clipper is of interest to you. Please do share anything you're playing around with. I'm very keen to see templates shared on different TTRPG resources. I'm sure we could have things like Dajon, all the random table creators. Like you could have templates that basically copy those into things. Maybe there's a website that creates an NPC and now you have a button that you just copies that into your notes, right? So all sorts of ideas I'm sure you can come up with from this. But yeah, share them in the Discord, guys. I'm very, very keen to see it. And obviously, like for all of my tutorials, they will be available at obsidian.ttrpgtutorials.com. So yeah, jump over there. All right, let's leave it there. Thank you. I want to say a huge, massive shout out to all of my supporters. Thank you. You continue to blow me away. And hopefully this is useful and helpful for you. Future videos that I'm really looking forward to doing will be an update on the CLI process. So watch this space because that is going to be big. All right, guys, enjoy your day. I'll speak to you on the socials. Bye.